folks, and thanks for joining me for this little practice. Today we're going to be focusing on the outer hips, special request from a few people. There will of course be other elements to the practice, but yeah, primarily focusing on helping to open and strengthen the outer hips. As always, please listen to your body. If something doesn't feel right, don't do it, and listen to your breath to guide the intensity of your practice. So if you find that you're starting to get out of breath, if you can't breathe steadily through the nose, both in and out, just take a little rest or take a simpler option for a little while until you get your breath back under control. And of course, as always, if you have any questions, I'd love to hear from you. Just pop them in the comments and I'll get back to you. And these classes are offered free of charge, but of course, if you'd like to support me with a donation, there's a PayPal link in the description. If not, that's fine. I want these practices to be accessible to everyone, regardless of circumstances. So, all that being said, just come into a cross-legged position with the right leg in front. Take a couple of moments just to feel the sit bones are evenly weighted, so a little rock side to side often helps. And then bring your body into a little forward stretch. So reach out through your hands, reach out through the crown of the head. Try to keep a sense of length in the front of the body as well as the back. Take a last breath or two here, just letting the body soften perhaps a little further forward. And then after you breathe out, take your left hand out to the left side at shoulder height. Take the right hand over at about 45 degrees. And see if you can start to walk the right fingers away from you. At the same time, press out into your left hand and try to anchor the right sit bone down. You might find the stretch is now through the whole right side of the body. Take another breath or two here, and either stay there, or if you want to go a little bit further and it's comfortable, take your right elbow to the floor outside your left knee, take your left hand next to your hip, and just take a little twist looking over the left shoulder. If you can't comfortably keep the right elbow outside left knee, don't worry about this, just do the side stretch. Take one more breath here, and after you exhale, just gently unravel, come back to the center for a moment, and then sit back up. Reach high to the fingers, and interlacing your fingers, press up through the palms. Pull the elbows back, take another breath, raise the chin and stretch the throat. And then lowering your hands down, either just lean back and swap the legs, or ideally press down through the hands or the fists, pick up the legs, swap them over, and then lower the body back down. And now with the left leg in front, just give the hips a little rock side to side. You can do shins stacked, of course, if you know that variation, it's a bit stronger. And now start to move the body forward once more. Again, the two sides might feel a little bit different. And just go steadily and smoothly into your forward stretch. Listen to your body and give it time to soften and relax into the posture. Just take another couple of breaths here. Again, make sure that you're lengthening forward through the crown of the head, not just down. And then when you feel comfortable, take your right hand out to the side at shoulder height. Take your left arm over to the right and start to walk the left fingers away from you. So we're starting to bring that stretch not just into the left outer hip and left side of the lower back, but ideally through the whole left side, the ribs, the shoulder, right out to the hand. And it's plenty to stay here. Again, try to make sure the left sit bone stays anchored down. Or if it's really easy, you can bring left elbow outside right knee, right hand to the floor near your hip, and take a little twist to the right. And wherever you are, take a last calm breath or two. And after your next out breath, just gently release back to the forward position. And after a breath or two there, Gently sit back up. And again, reach high to the hands as you breathe in. And with the opposite thumb on top, interlace and again press up through the palms. Pull the elbows gently back and take another breath. You can look up and stretch the throat if that feels okay. And then gently lower your hands down and make your way into kneeling plank. So just a couple of breaths here. Give the neck a little stretch out, let the head hang down and gently roll it side to side. Then pick up the knees a few centimetres and just pause there. If that's too strong, if you're not doing stronger stomach work, you can stay with the knees down. Take one more calm breath here. And after you exhale, press back into downward facing dog. And just check that your feet are hip width, your hands are shoulder width. And for the first couple of breaths in down dog, just let your head hang down, focus on stretching through shoulders, upper back, and the back of the neck. Now gently keep the upper body as it is, but bend the left knee and press back through the right leg. And to begin with, the hips are relatively level. After your next out breath, just swap the legs the other way. Try to press back through the left calf. Lift up through the left sit bone. Press down through the heel. And after your next out breath, come back to a symmetrical position. Now lift your left heel, turn your body a little to the side and see if you can lift up through the outer left hip. You might start to feel that stretch moving into the left side of the waist a little bit. Take another breath there. And after you exhale, swap to the other side so left foot comes flat in line with the mat. Lift the right hip and right heel. Try to find a little length in the outer right hip. Take one more smooth breath here. And after breathing out, lower the right foot back down. Now bend your left knee, but take it across the front of your body and try to lift up through your right sit bone. So now the left hip should be dropped quite low. Take one more breath here. Keep lifting through the sit bones. There's a good stretch for the right ankle too. After you breathe out, come back to a symmetrical position and then take the other side. So now bend the right knee, take it across the front of your body and try to turn to the left. Again, lift up through the left sit bone. Keep the breath calm and steady, the face relaxed. And after breathing out one more time here, come back to the center in a symmetrical down dog. Exhale one more time. Now raise the right leg up and back, stretch through to the toes as you inhale. Then step your right foot forward into a lunge and breathe out. On your left fingers, turn to the right and see if you can reach up into the right hand. At the same time, squeeze your right knee inwards towards the center line of the body. Take one more smooth breath here. And after you exhale, bring the right hand back down and stand the body up. Reach through to your fingertips, stretch into the hands, and then sink a little deeper into the hips as you breathe out. Take another breath. Reach right up into the hands. Then take your fingers to the mat and picking up your right foot, step it back to down face dog. Now reach your left leg up and back. Stretch out through the toes as you inhale. And then step your left foot lightly forward into a lunge. So we're always trying to move lightly between postures. On the right hand, turn to the left, reach up to the left fingers and try to squeeze the left knee in towards the center line of the body. Take another breath and see if you can turn the shoulders a little further. And gently releasing, stand up, reach high to the hands as you breathe in. And sink deeper into the hips as you breathe out. Take another breath, reach up, maybe look up if it feels okay. Then bring the hands to the mat and step lightly back to downward facing dog. Stay there and rest if necessary, otherwise move forward into plank or kneeling. And lower to the stomach and gently breathe out. Try to move with control. Lift the chest and hands, maybe lift the feet as you breathe in. And stay there or take the hands back and interlace the fingers. Take another smooth breath. And then press back, holding the breath if you can, and breathe out in downward facing dog. Take a breath or two in down dog. And again, just check that you're not tensing the neck or shoulders. Try and press your armpits towards the feet. As you inhale, reach the right leg high, stretch up into the toes. And then step your right foot lightly forward into a lunge. This time with your left hand down, I want you to turn your right foot out to the right and spin down onto the outer edge of your left foot. And then see if you can reach your right arm back and open out through the right side. Take another breath in here. Try to keep the right foot flat. Then roll smoothly back over. Exhale in the lunge. Stand in the lunge as you reach high to the hands. And pressing the palms wide, sink into the hips as you breathe out. Then once more reach the arms up. Lengthen into the fingertips as you inhale. Then bring the hands to the mat and gently fold over the right leg as you breathe out. Hold here for a breath. Move the collarbones forward. And sink a little deeper down as you exhale. Then bend your right knee, take a breath in, and picking up your right foot, step it back to down dog. Stay there and rest or move forward and take a breath in. Use the knees if necessary. Lower smoothly to the stomach and breathe out. Then lift the chest and hands as you breathe in. Maybe take the hands back as you breathe out. Maybe lift to up dog, your choice. And then make your way smoothly back to down dog. And again, just hang out in down dog for a breath or two. On your next in breath, reach the left leg high, stretch out through the toes. And then step the left foot lightly forward into the lunge. Now turn your left foot out to the left, roll to the outer edge of your right foot, and on the right palm, keep the left knee where it is, and see if you can open out into the left hand. Try to keep the left foot flat. And turn it a little bit further if you can, maybe sink the hips down further, that might make it more fun. And then gently roll back to the lunge and breathe out. Then stand in your lunge. Reach high to the fingers as you breathe in. Press the palms wide, sink into the hips and exhale. Then again reach the arms high, lengthen into the fingertips. And taking the hands to the mat, take a gentle stretch over the left leg. And again take an extra breath here. Keep the shoulders and the face relaxed. Now bend the left knee, take a breath in, and picking up the foot, step it silently back to down dog. Stay and rest or move forward to plank and inhale, and smoothly and calmly lower down and breathe out. Lift the chest and hands or take your up dog. Hold there and gently breathe out. On your next in-breath, maybe press to up dog. And then come back to down dog and exhale. Take a smooth breath or two here. Relax the shoulders, relax the face. Now raise your heels, look forwards and breathe in. bring your feet lightly to the hands. Now separate your feet about hip width apart. Take your right hand to your left shin or foot. Take your left hand to your hip. Take a little twist to the left. And then see if you can bend the right knee. And a bit like we did in down dog, try to lift the left sit bone up as you turn. Take one more breath here. And then straighten the right leg. Swap the hands the other way. So left hand to right foot or shin as appropriate for you. Right hand to the hip, turn to the right, and then see if you can bend into the left knee. Lift up through the right sit bone. Take one more breath here. And after exhaling, release and come back to the forward position. Now taking your hands to interlace behind the back, pull the shoulder blades towards each other. Let the body gently fold a little further forward, making sure that your lower back stays fairly straight. Try and soften the shoulders. Just one more smooth breath here. And then bend your knees. Release the hands. Stand all the way up. Stretching the backs of the wrists, reach to the fingers. Lift onto the toes. Then lower your heels. Lower your hands. And bring your feet together at the front of your mat. From there, step your left foot back about leg distance. Turn it just out to the side enough for the heel to stay down. Bring your hands onto your hips and pull your shoulders back. Lift your collarbones, arching the spine, and keeping your hips level and legs straight but unlocked, just start to fold the body forward. Try to keep a gentle arch in your spine. And for today, hands on hips is plenty. Just focus on pulling the shoulders back. I want you to really think of more what's happening in the legs here. Try to pull the outer right hip back slightly and press down and forward through the front foot. Take one more smooth breath in here. And as you exhale, just see if you can start to lay the body a little further over the leg. Again, the hips should stay level. We're not really moving the legs through this sequence, just the upper body changing position. Keep weight in the back heel. Just take one more smooth breath here. As you exhale, let the body soften a bit further. Then take your left hand to the floor or to your right shin as another option. Bring your right hand onto the back of the hips for a moment. Check that they're fairly level. And then reach the right arm up, coming into Parivrita Trikonasana, twisting triangle. You'll notice here that the right hip wants to poke out to the side. Instead, I want you to try and pull your right hip back. And that should give you a lot more fun through the outer right hip and right side of the leg. Take one more breath here. And after you exhale, gently bring the right hand down. Then take your hands back onto your hips. Press down through your right foot, arch the spine as you stand, and step left foot to meet the right. The legs should feel a bit different now. So repeating on the second side, keep the left foot where it is, step your right foot back about a leg distance and just a little out to the side. With hands on hips, pull your shoulders back and lift the collarbones. Check that the hips are level. And then just move a third to halfway forward, making sure that you've still got an arch in the spine. Again, the legs should be straight but not quite locked out. And try to make sure that your left kneecap is pointing in the same direction as your toes, so we're not letting the knee turn in or turn out. Anyone else find this is their tight side? very much for me. Maybe you've already done the tight side. Keep the shoulders back, the legs strong. Just take one more breath in here. And as you breathe out, just slowly let the body move forward over the leg to your comfortable capacity. Again, make sure your breath is steady through the nose, both in and out. The slower you can make your breath comfortably, the more the body will relax. Watch the front knee, it'll want to either lock or bend. Eventually we're working towards the spot in between. And after your next calm out breath, just take your right hand down. Maybe it's to the mat or maybe it's to the foot or the shin, your choice. Take your left hand onto your hips and just check that they're still level. You might need to pull the left hip back and the right hip up. Once you have checked the hips are level, reach up into the left hand and use the arms to help turn the shoulders a little bit more. And again, as you do that, you'll notice your left hip wants to poke out to the left side, but don't let that happen. Try to pull it in and back. And at the same time, press into the right heel. Take one more smooth breath here. And see if you can gently turn a little bit further. And after you exhale, bring the left hand back down. Pause for a breath or two with the body over the leg. Then bring your hands to your hips. Try to keep the legs steady. Stand up, arching the spine a little. And step the right foot to meet the left. Then just taking a little standing balance on the right foot, coming into Garudasana. Actually, before we come into Garudasana, let's take a little squat. Left ankle onto right knee. Just bring hands to the heart and sink down into a one-legged squat. Take a moment to press the left knee down, but the hips a little to the left as well. If you're really comfortable here, see if you can bring your ribs onto your right thigh. Take one more calm breath here. And after you exhale, gently stand back up. Take the left leg further across the right and see if you can hook the toes into Garudasana. Then take the arms wide, reach out through the palms and bring right arm over left. So full Garudasana position. If that's too strong on the shoulders, just give yourself a hug with the right arm on top. Take one more breath. Try to sink a bit deeper into the hips if you can. And then unravel the arms. Take the arms high, bring the left knee to the chest. And then gently lower down. And the same on the second side. So standing on the left foot, bring right ankle onto the left knee, hands to the heart, and just start to sink into a one-legged squat. Try to press the right knee down and the hips a little to the right. And if you did first side from there, see if you can bring your lowest ribs to touch the left thigh. Take one more calm breath here. And after you exhale, bring the body back up. Slide the right leg further across and see if you can hook the toes under the calf. If not, just do your best approximation. Then arms go wide, bring left arm over right. Remember, a simple hug is enough. Otherwise, bring the arms into Garudasana. Keep the thumbs pointing up. And then sink a little deeper into the hips if you can. Take one more breath. And after you exhale, gently unravel. Take the arms high, take the right knee to the chest, smoothly breathing. And then lower the leg down. Step back to the front of your mat. Reach the arms high, take a breath.
And then fold forward, hands to shins or mat, and breathe out. Lift your collarbones, arch the spine as you inhale. And taking hands to the mat, make your way back into downward facing dog. Then roll onto right hand and right foot, just coming into simple Vashisthasana. Reach the left arm high, lift the hips high. Keep the right arm unlocked. Look up if your balance is good and take one more breath. And then lower down and smoothly roll over to the other side. Reach up into the right fingers, lift the hips. Look up if your balance is good. Take one more breath. Keep left arm strong. And then come back to down face dog and breathe out. Raise your heels, look forwards. Lower onto the elbows simultaneously. Keep the hips lifted. Take another breath in. And then lower to the knees. And crossing the ankles, come to sitting on your mat. So now stretch your left leg out. And take your right foot to the outer left knee. Take your right hand to the floor behind you, reach the left arm high, and either wrap it around the front of the shin or take it over the knee if you can. Try to press your leg across the front of the body without the right sit bone lifting. You should start to get a bit of a stretch through the outer right hip and right glute. You can then turn further if you'd like, but make sure you've still got that stretch in the outer hip. Just one more breath here. And after you exhale, unravel from your twist. Now, bring the right knee onto the left. And if you're really tight in the outer hips, I just want you to stay upright and press the hands down onto the right knee. So particularly if the knees are very far away from each other. If you're reasonably comfortable, lift the hips up, tilt the sit bones back, sit gently back down, and then as feels comfortable for you, be careful here. Slowly start to let the body move forward. And you should get a good stretch for the left leg, as well as perhaps the outer right hip, especially if it's tight. Particularly in these seated postures, try to keep the eyes closed. Just one more calm breath here. And after you exhale, gently sit back up. Reach high to the hands. And interlacing the fingers, press up through the palms. Pull the elbows back, raise the chin, stretch the throat. And then lowering your hands down, now stretch the right leg out. Take your left foot to the outer right knee. Then left hand just near the hips behind you. Either wrap your right arm around the front of the left shin, or if it's easy, take your knee into your right armpit. Keep turning the upper body. And see if you can bring your leg a little further across the center line of the body without your left hip lifting up. Then you can deepen the twist, but again, try and focus on maintaining a bit of stretch in the outer left hip. One more breath here. After exhaling, turn your head to the right. Unravel the body, and then drop your left knee down on top of the right. So again, before you think of doing anything else, check where your left knee is. If it's up high, just stay upright and press your hands down onto the left knee. Those who've got the knees relatively close, pick up the hips, tilt the sit bones back. And then once you've done that, lower back down and slowly and carefully start to fold forward. So again, there should be a bit of a stretch in the right leg, but also in the outer left hip. Do not force any posture really, but this posture in particular. Keep the face relaxed. Just one more breath here. And after you exhale, sit back up, reach high to the hands, and interlacing opposite thumb on top, press up through the palms. Pull the elbows back, raise the chin, stretch the throat as you inhale. And then gently lower the hands down. Stretch your left leg out. Take your hands back behind you. Pull your shoulders back, lift the collarbones, and either stay there just with a stretch across the upper chest, or on palms or fists, lift the hips into Pavottanasana. Keep the elbows unlocked, the face soft. Take one more breath here. And then lower all the way down. And just hug your knees into your chest for a breath or two. Rock back into a balance point. Close your eyes. Take one more breath. And after you exhale, bring your feet to the mat. And we'll just take one little inner hip stretch. So taking Tarasana today. So even if you know you can do Baddha Konasana, I'd like you to take Tarasana today. Try to have about 40 or 50 centimeters between the hips and the heels. To start with, just hold the ankles and give the knees a little bit of a butterfly. And then if you feel comfortable, keep holding above the ankles. Take your elbows to your inner knees and just start to slowly bring the body forward. Keep length in the back of the neck. As always, try to keep your inner focus. Not frustrated when the mind wanders, but choosing not to let the attention be diverted. Instead, choose to stay present. Take one more breath here. And after exhaling, gently sit back up. Raise the chin, stretch the throat. Bring the chin in, gently breathe out. Pick up the knees once more, hug them into the body. And then lie down on your back. Once you're lying down, stretch your left leg out along the mat and hug the right knee into the body. Now take hold of your right foot or ankle. You can use a strap around the foot here if you need. And with your left hand on your thigh, bring the right shin vertical. And then start to pull the right knee down underneath your armpit. Keep reaching out through the left foot and try to make sure your left calf is still touching the mat. Try not to let the right knee go wide. It's just next to the ribs. Just a last breath or two here. Eventually right thigh to the mat, whilst left calf to the mat. And from here now, keep the leg bent at about 90 degrees. That's the right leg, of course. start to turn your thigh outwards. Bring the left hand onto the right heel, the right hand to the knee, and just see if you can turn the thigh in the hip. You can stay lying down on the mat, or if you're comfortable, you can sit up halfway. And then see if you can bring your right foot to the inner left elbow. See if you can cradle the leg towards the chest. Keep the chin to the throat, the neck soft, the face relaxed. Try to keep the left calf pressing down. Just one more breath here. And after exhaling, place your right leg behind your head. No kidding. We'll keep it simpler than that. But that's what we're working towards. Lie back down, straighten the right leg. Hold it with both, or hold the foot with both hands if you can. Use a strap if you need. Keep the left leg down, the head down, the back flat, and gently bring the right leg towards the body. Take one more breath here. And after you exhale, gently release the right leg, stretch it out along the mat. And now hug your left knee into the chest. So keep the right calf pressing down, the right leg just gently active. Once you've hugged the knee in for a breath or two, take your left hand onto either the ankle or the outer left foot. Bring your right hand onto the right thigh. And then gently start to pull the left knee down underneath the armpit. So you can use the right hand gently pressing down to keep the hips fairly level. Try to keep the left shin as vertical as you can. Each time you breathe out, see if there's somewhere where you can relax, where you can soften and let go of tension. The two sides probably not exactly the same. Remember, if you've got time, to spend a little bit of extra time on the tight side. Take one more breath here. And after you exhale, just keep the left leg bent, bring your right hand to the left heel, left hand to the inner knee, and just see if you can start to turn the thigh outwards. Staying there may well be enough, but if you're comfortable and want to do a little bit of stronger stomach work, come into a half sit-up position. And then if you're capable of comfortably doing so, bring left foot to inner right elbow, cradle the leg towards the chest. Keep reaching out through the right foot. Bring the left leg a little closer into the body if you can. Hold there for a last breath or two. If you're really comfy, you can take the foot a little bit higher up towards the crown of the head, but keep the left thigh turned out. And after your next exhalation, gently lie back down. And taking hold of the left foot or ankle with both hands, see if you can straighten the left leg. And if you're comfortable, from there start to bring the leg down towards the body a little further. Again, the two sides probably not the same. Just a last breath or two here. Keep the shoulders relaxed, the breath steady. And now gently release the left leg. Stretch it out along the mat. And give the hips a little rock from side to side. Now bend your knees. Bring the left foot flat to the mat. Pick up your hips and tuck the right foot under, coming into a little modified Supta Virasana. Try to find a stretch for the right thigh. It's not essential for the knee to be on the mat. In fact, For most people it won't be unless you're very open in the thighs and the front of the hips. Use the left foot gently pressing down just to control the intensity of that stretch. The more you lift the hips up, the less intense the stretch will be for the right thigh, knee and hip. Try to think of lengthening your right knee away from your right ribs. And resist the temptation to splay it out. So the knee shouldn't really go wider than the hip, ideally. Take one more breath here. And after you exhale, gently release the right leg and swap to the second side. So now push into the right foot, tuck the left foot either under or just next to the left hip. And start to press the left knee away from the left ribs. Again, use your right foot to control the intensity of the stretch. The more you lift up, the less intense it'll be. Remember, if you can't keep your breath steady, you're doing too much. Just last couple of breaths here. Try to lengthen somewhere in the left thigh or the front of the hip or around the left knee. And after your next calm out breath, gently release the left foot down and bring the body flat to the mat. Give the hips a little rock from side to side. And then either just take a bridge or stay and rest for an even simpler option. You might like to take second bridge with the shoulder blades together. If you feel really enthusiastic, you can just lift into one back arch, one Urdhva Dhanurasana. Not essential. Wherever you are, take one more breath. And if you're not there already, lie down on your back. Take a rest for a couple of breaths, and then stretch your right leg out along the mat. Take your hips over to the left edge of the mat and hook your left foot behind your right knee. Roll onto your right side, hold your knee down with the right hand, and then reach diagonally back into the left hand. Now there will be a stretch in the left shoulder for many people here, a twist for the spine, but also a stretch in the outer left hip ideally. If you want to make that a bit stronger, press down with your right hand and then push up with your left knee. So you're increasing the counter pressure between the right hand and left knee. Just hold here for a few more breaths. Try to pull the front ribs gently in if you're a bit of a back archer. Try to press the left shoulder blade to the mat. One more breath here. And after you exhale, gently release. Bring the hips back to the center, pause. And when you feel ready, stretch the left leg out. Move your hips to the right. Then hook your right foot behind the left knee. Roll onto your left side and hold your knee down with the left hand. Then reach diagonally back into the right hand. Try to keep reaching out through your right fingertips. Make sure your right knee stays anchored to the floor. If it's lifting up, just roll a bit more onto your left side. And again, you can press down with the left hand to deepen the stretch in the outer right hip. At the same time, press up through the right knee. Just take a last breath or two. And after one more smooth out breath, release. Come back to the center. Then take your feet out to the edges of your mat and let your knees drop towards each other. Take your arms over your head and just rest there for a few breaths. And after your next calm out breath, stretch out into the legs, stretch out into the hands. And then bring your arms down by your sides in Shavasana. If you'd like to take legs up the wall, you can do that instead. Take a few moments to make the body comfortable, give the hips a little rock side to side. And then accept that wherever you are is good enough, and resist the temptation to fidget or move. With your eyes closed, take your inner focus into the center of the chest. Take a smooth, deep breath in. Fill the lungs. And then gently breathe out all the way. Empty the lungs completely. And then with an 8-second rhythm, breathe deeply in, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, and breathe out, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Breathe in, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. And breathe out, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Again in, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. And out, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Breathe in. And just take a couple more rounds of Ujjayi Pranayama at your own pace. Balance the length of your in and out breath. Of course, if you need to take a shorter rhythm, that's fine. If you know you can take a longer rhythm, then do so. But maintain a steady, even quality to the breath, from the beginning through the middle to the very end. Feel the body re-energized with every inhalation, relaxed with every exhalation. Especially soften the face, the jaw and the shoulders. Try to keep the mind steady and focused on your breathing. Developing an inner dharana, an inner one-pointed focus. without rushing. Finish the cycle you're on, and once you've completed it with an exhalation, come back to completely relaxed breathing once more. Allow your breath to settle. Allow the breath to be as effortless as the body. And let your mind simply rest on your breath. Follow its rhythm without the need to change anything, without the need to get involved. Start to recognize the stillness between breaths and between thoughts. When the mind drifts off, without any sense of frustration, simply bring it back again and again and again onto your breathing. Maintain that steady inner focus without effort or involvement for the last couple of minutes of your practice. Keeping the body and the mind quiet and still, just start to deepen your breath once more. And then slowly begin to move your fingers and toes as you reawaken the body. When you're ready, stretch your arms over your head, reaching out to the toe tips and the fingertips. And from there, gently roll onto your right side and rest for a couple of breaths with your head on the outstretched arm. And when you're ready, without rushing, make your way back to a comfortable seat. Once you're upright, just let go of any last bits of unnecessary effort in the body, the mind and the heart. See if you can stay connected to the quiet mind of Shavasana once you leave your practice space. And bring your palms together in front of the heart. We'll close our practice with the Devi Maha mantra and one Om. Breathing in together. Sarva Mangala Mangalye Shive Sarvata Shadike Sharanye Triambake Gauri Narayani Namostute Om. As you breathe in, reach your arms over your head, lengthening all the way through the spine and into the fingertips. And as you exhale, bring the hands to the crown center, the brow center, the throat center, and the heart. And with awareness in the heart space, gently release the spine forward. And sit gently back up. Namaste. Thank you very much for sharing with me and allowing me to share with you. Hope your hips feel happier, and of course any questions let me know. Thank you once again, and I look forward to seeing you again soon. Catch you next time.